God bless you. Welcome back to the Triage Room, Jehovah-Rapha, where sin is the sickness and Jesus Christ is the cure. As you can see, I'm standing in a park. Let me just give you a panoramic view of the park behind me. I was at the latter end of my work and on my way home, and I just felt the need, to have some downtime before I got in. You know what it's like. You have a busy day at work, and when you get home, especially if you've got children, um, it can be just as taxing and busy when you get in from work. And I thought, you know what, Stephen, just take, a moment to sit in this park to just download, you know what I'm saying? Um, just download, hey, little dog passed me by. This is live, you can tell. Um, and I said, I want to have some downtime um, just to collect my thoughts. Because, we can be busy being busy most of our lives, and we never take time out for ourselves, to download, just to recuperate, to rejuvenate and to go again. And because of that, many of us, suffer burnout. And I said, Stephen, just take some time out in this local park. Take a sit or a seat rather on park bench and just do nothing. And that's what I did. But as I sat there, Psalms 46 verse 10 came to mind, and it says, "Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted in all the nations. I will be exalted in all the earth." And it's like, boom, God reminded me that when we take time out to be still, that's when we clearly, you know, hear from God. Because when we're busy being busy, it's very difficult to focus or concentrate on anything. You know, um, if you're busy rushing from point A to point B, you are most likely you'll miss, you know, everything between point A and B. What I mean is, for instance, if you're driving, for instance, from a one town to the next town and you're rushing, if it's a scenic or a beautiful journey, because you're busy rushing, you won't see the beauty between the two towns, as it were. You'll miss the lake, you'll miss the tree, you miss the birds singing, you'll miss everything in between the two destinations because you're busy rushing, right? And that's what it's like sometimes for us, in between waking up, going to work, shopping, coming back home, sleeping, waking up, going to work, rushing, you know, coming back home. We miss the in between, and the in between could be God speaking to us, right? The in between could be God saying, slow down, God giving you some, perhaps some financial advice, some marital advice, some health advice, maybe He's giving you a word of knowledge or wisdom. Maybe He's giving you some revelation or, a prophetic word, but because you're rushing, you're busy being busy, you miss God speaking to you clearly. Sometimes he's giving you a word through your situation, your circumstances, but because you're busy, you miss it. And so this word came to me as I was being still, being still, instead of rushing from point A to point B, God spoke to me in my spirit as I sat there and just like, you know, yeah, if you know what I'm saying. And sometimes we need to take some time out to go, because we live in a society that's, we just on a rush all the time. Everything's, 100 miles an hour, you know. Everything's fast paced, man. Fast food, um, we rush from point A to point B, While we're rushing, we're doom scrolling on our phones. When we get home, we're on the phone talking, watching TV. We don't have time for nothing, man. We don't have time to even eat. To even eat, we rush that too. Um, we don't even sleep for 8 hours nowadays, you know. Well, many of us don't anyway. My hands up, I don't sleep for 8 hours. I'm always rushing, because I've got bills to pay, right? But God reminded me, Stephen, be still. Be still, because you're not being still, you are not hearing me speak to you. I'm always speaking to you, but because you're rushing, you have no time to hear me. And I think that's a message for us today. God could be speaking to you audibly, clearly, but because you're rushing from point A to point B every single day, 7 days a week, you miss God speaking to you. It reminded me of little Samuel. Samuel became, one of the major prophets of Israel. That it was the wee hours of the night that God spoke to him. He thought it was Eli, the priest, but it was God speaking to him. Um, but imagine if Samuel was being busy ramping, playing, rushing from point A to point B. He would have missed that voice. He would have missed hearing the voice of God. How often does God speak to us? Perhaps every day. But because we're being busy, we miss His voice. We miss His instructions. So my message really, in this haphazard video, forgive the background noise, I'm in the park, is just be still. Be still. Find some time in your busy schedule to be still, to cut out the white noise. You know, turn off the TV, don't doom scroll for that, maybe 5, 10 minutes, an hour or so, and just be still. Take some time out to meditate on God's word. And maybe you'll hear God speak to you, audibly like I'm speaking to you, or in your spirit. Maybe you'll get to hear Him give you that word of wisdom or word of knowledge or that revelation or that prophetic word only when you're still. So if you're busy right now, perhaps turn off that TV, put down that iPhone, stop doom scrolling, tell your sister, that you call her back in an hour or so, just find some time. I know it's not easy sometimes if you've got kids and you're busy, just find some time, whether it be 5, 10 minutes, whatever it is, pull yourself away from the white noise and just say, God, this is your time. Speak to my spirit now. Speak to me now, God. I know I've been, rushing from point A to point B, trying to make a living, trying to pay my bills, trying to do my mortgage. But today I'm going to give you some time so you can speak to my spirit. I hope that lands with somebody watching this right now. Psalms 46 verse 10. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted in all the nations. I will be exalted in all the earth. May God bless you. May God keep you. And, where possible, share this with as many people as you can. May God bless you. Take care now, right? God bless.